Right, there we go. So, what I've decided I'm going to do then, just so the chat is always up for you guys, is I'm going to upload the replay. So that's going to be the first 20 minutes. So if you guys are going to be watching the Japanese point of view, then you can watch the replay, and you get all of that. And then you just watch the actual proper part 1, and yeah, you get the rest of it. It's just so I can actually get the chat up. I always assumed that when I actually streamed it and uploaded it via Twitch, it would have the actual chat up, and I never checked, and it didn't, so I'm like, oh right, okay. Should probably get that sorted then. So let's just start uploading this. Let me know if you guys got any questions. And we'll go through them shortly. Can't make much of a comment on the Tenno as of yet, but overall it seems fine, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah, I'm just going to start uploading the actual replay in a second. It is interesting with the submarines, actually. I mean, to be honest, it's really surprising that it's had both submarines in one to the south and one to the north as well. It does make me wonder, has he been patrolling those lanes already, or is that just a new development there? Or are we just unlucky, you know? Have we just arrived at the wrong time there? Okay. Thank you very much for that, Ring of Blood. Torigrimmer, thank you very much for that. Much appreciated that. Yeah, the replay will be uploaded in a few minutes there, Kevin. There we go. Okay, we'll get back into things now. I tell you, it feels strange. I'm still having to get used. Like, I'm having to get back into the actual streaming thing again. It's been a little while since I've done any proper streaming. I've gone all formal. Alright then, let's take a look. Moving east. He could have moved it from Cooktown all the way up here, and then be looking to move it into Port Moresby. Yeah, it just so happens that a number of his submarines here that would have been in that area are having to go and refuel. But that's fine. I'm not going to have the naval bombers attack this. Not as of yet. My worry is that he might be doing this deliberately. So if he's going to do this, I'll use submarines to engage here. If he moves through here into the Gulf of Carpentaria, then into the Arathora Sea, to the Timor Sea, then obviously the airbase at Kopan could handle that quite nicely. So I'm not going to overly react to it. If it's a tanker, I would be quite surprised. Okay. So we are seeing a reduction of fighters over there. Let's go ahead and check out the Tojos. Ah, yes, awesome. So all the Tojos did make it back in one piece, which is excellent. No damage and very low fatigue. This is it, they're superb aircraft. They're really good for the sweeping. Yeah, just obviously the issues, the range there. That's the other Akalaos. I'm a good one, my man. By the way, do go ahead and check out Akalaos' channel on YouTube. Definitely worth checking out. And does he even have air bases in range? In range... Well, he's got Australia. I think he would have... What's the name of it? I mean, he's got Cooktown, which has an actual airfield. He's got Cairns, which has a level 2 airfield. So he's got airfields over here. He does have airfields. We know he's running Catalinas around this area. We keep seeing reports of that, so we know that's what's going on. He's really overemphasizing these submarines in this area, which is a bit of a pain. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have, like, the... I'll just do this. I'll just have the actual... Until you patrol boats just carry supplies in there. So at the end of the day, if he attacks it, it's a patrol boat, and it can attack back, it can fight back. It's got depth charges, and yeah, it's one of these. It's not gonna It's not like an AK when it's unable to protect itself. A PB can protect itself. Okay. So let's see. So the tankers are unloading over there. I'm not gonna lie, I just found that really strange. Like, why have those guys gone that way and they've gone that way? But okay. Undetected. Yeah, so the Kiddabatai was detected. Now, thankfully, yeah, these guys are fine, which is good news. I mean, that's obviously got to be BBs in there that destroys the AO and the AK. Obviously, don't want any of those to be hidden there. But yeah, these guys will be fine. They'll be out of here shortly. And what we are going to do is obviously have them make way to Baltuan where they can refuel. Now, he was trying to attack these ships over here. It would have been unfortunate had the artillery been hit, but thankfully it wasn't hit. What we do next with MKB. MKB is going to go to Baltuan, refuel the Baltuan, and then it's going to head towards Truck. It's going to head to Truck, link up the Akagi and the Karga. I think I will be dispatching V4. Probably going to be dispatching V4 carriers of the Kiddabatai this turn. We should have, yeah, fuel's underway there. So we do have 31,000 units of fuel underway there. There will be additional fuel moving out as well. These guys, I should have told them to cancel loading fuel, god damn it. But yes, they're going to be heading out to Canton Island as well. Originally I was going to send to Roynham, but I decided against that, and they're going to be going to Canton Island this time. Okay. Yeah, I think we did see a light cruiser here. Supposedly a light cruiser. I don't know if it is a light cruiser. We need to check what's happened down here. Thunderstorms in the area. Well, that complicates things. Now, the weather is poor in the area. I need to see if the actual float plane from I-10 went ahead. But, I mean, it's clear skies here. I don't know. It seems likely that the carriers are no longer here at Wellington. Which... it raises questions. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, we can estimate that there was around about 2 carriers down of the south. It does make me wonder, is there number 1 here? Is there number 2 here? I think the most likely theory that I can go with is that there's, I don't know, that maybe there was 3 down here, as we saw the original 3 carriers. We did see a single attack by a 4th carrier, the newly arrived carrier, over at Midway. I don't know. Yeah, it happens. I mean, this is it. There was a company air patrol there, wasn't there? So let's go ahead and take a look at Operation Portsman. We'd have to send it back so it can actually be rearmed. Oh wow, yep, there we go. So that's a hell of a lot of ships there that have been converted and now returned to service, which is fantastic. The aptly named American Maru. So if ACM's there. AGs, these are just auxiliaries, which are very handy. AGs. ACMs, yep, AMCs. Very nice. I'm going to have to take a look at that. Okay, so the 52nd Naval Guard's packing. It's going to be delayed today. Supposedly Allied ships near Tulagi. Stats of Yamato. Good. We'll take a look at them in the near future, really. They like auxiliaries. Let's see. I've got a... Oops. I think I've got a document here somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, copy of ship types. Yeah, miscellaneous auxiliary. A general purpose auxiliary with several uses. As a base ship, contains small craft, performing repair and rearming, not including torpedoes, can also carry cargo if using a cargo task force. It's like, I think it can rearm patrol boats. I'm not entirely sure. It can rearm small ships, but that's a very... It's a bit of a loose term, isn't it, really? Okay. And that's an interesting report there. 6 allied ships near. So 13845. I don't know about that. 14055. Or was it 13845? Yeah, we've got ammunition. We've got ammunition tenders. I think that's the proper term there. We've got just a casino at the moment, but we do have more being converted. Right, oh no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Right, 13845. Okay. So I think that would suggest that this submarine headed straight down, perhaps. Yeah, small ships would be ships smaller than a DD. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hello. Oh, hello there, sweet opportunity. Okay, so we can see that forces are at... Yeah, forces at Nanyang are apparently moving. Now, as to how much is moved at Nanyang, I do not know. But that's good to know, man. But actually, I do need to move some units. You're not the one that can be broken up. But what I'm going to do here then... I meant to do this a while ago and I forgot about it, apparently. Right. So if I take a look... Let's get the roads. So here we go, they have the secondary roads here. So that's all the rough. Yeah. So what I need to do then is secure these roads if I can. It will give us the ability to basically march upon Siam. As you can see that this is clear terrain of this area, clear over here. Rather than marching through all the wooded rough, we can avoid that. So what I'm going to do then... And that's 210 there for the Independent Mixed Brigade. But what I'm going to do then is have this unit... I would like to isolate the garrison at Yan'an, if there's indeed a garrison at Yan'an. I would like to take control of this road over here due to the fact of the rivers. So what I'm going to do is have it dispatched up there. How are the rail yards? Well, railroads, sorry. So if we press Y. Yeah, there's not terribly much in the way of rail out here. There's decent rail here, but as you can see, this isn't linked. Shame, really. I wish they were linked. But it's really good to the roads. But secondary roads ain't bad. I mean, it'd be nice to have a major road, but I can work with a secondary road. They'll move at 50 miles per day, but hey, it's better than nothing. And the good news is at least it's secondary road for all this awful terrain here, so that's not bad. Okay. Yep, so these brigades... Well, no, sorry, these elements of the brigade are moving down here to Taiwan. So what we're going to be doing then is having them move down this way and move up this way as well. I'm going to try and take advantage of this area here. He's not really doing very much. But essentially, what we can do then is in this area, if we control this road, and obviously control this area over here, you kind of can shut down the entire area. Especially, you got the mountains, you got the wooded rough over here. But if you control these points, yeah, like this point over here is wooded rough, so that's size 3 terrain. And if you control this, or even here as well, then you can kind of shut down this area towards the Chinese. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try and prevent him from doing that to me, really. So let's see, reconnaissance. Reconnaissance of the Yang has fallen off. Right, we are seeing a gradual increasement in the amount of fighters there, actually. We did see 20 last time we looked, now we're seeing 27, I think. Maybe, might be less bombers, actually. I think we saw like 50 bombers last time, but it might be just the information's more accurate now due to another passover. Right, okay, so we can... Oh, wow, that's amazing. Yes. Okay. So, there's now 20,000 men over here at Nanyang. Sorry, over here at Nanning. Now that indicates that he's left. There's 3 units as well. How many units, Chinese units, were in here before? I think it was a base force and a headquarters. So, I think he's left behind maybe a corps or 2 corps. But that's really good news. I'm glad that he's left them over here at Nanning. Like, it's not going to take them long to actually respond to any changes over here, but it's not going to happen immediately either, which is good news. Oh, he's not even moving. Well, that's actually... Well, that's really good, actually. Thank God for that. Yeah, clear terrain. That's a shock attack next turn. I'm really, really happy he's not actually moved there. That makes things significantly easier. It doesn't have a 3D print we set up. Okay. So the heavy artillery is heading now to Canton. 68th has arrived. 38th Division's on its way. Yeah, it's just going to take a while, really. We're really looking at maybe 9 days from the 10th, so we might be looking towards the 19th of February, maybe about the 20th of February, depending, really. It depends on how long we want to wait or what happens. But we're looking around about the 19th of February until for things to be more or less in position. Okay, our forces are moving out over here. But yeah, I'm glad that he's remained in this position. That is fantastic. Those guys will arrive there next turn as well. That's even better. So he can't retreat this way. I don't know where... Yeah, I don't know where he would actually retreat, so I think he would retreat this way, really. So we do have the Kyoko Naval Guard unit. They're moving south. So they're moving to that hex there. I think it's 45 miles per hex, so they've moved 12. So they'll move 13 per turn with it being a major road. So they should arrive a day after, more than likely. Okay. So the heavy cruisers are over here. Now, something to consider is the level of moonlight. We know there's a submarine in this area. Now, it doesn't have any additional detection. Good job it didn't intercept that, actually. That could have been bad. Right. Yeah, there we go. So finally going to put an end to the actual bloody arseholes over there at Buswanga. Going to have them refuel at sea just to actually get that shared out. So yeah, what we're going to be looking towards doing then is dealing with all these bloody torpedo boats and etc. gunboats. Right, then over here now. That's good news. They're going to move... So what I need these guys to do then is march across over here and into Cagayan. So then what that does is actually open up the roadway over here. It is a light cruiser and 3 destroyers. So we've got the light cruiser Notori. Actually, she does have low ammunition, but the... It should be sufficient, to be honest. I'd imagine they're dead in the water for the most part. But she's still got the... yeah, she's probably got enough ammunition. I'm not gonna say that she doesn't have enough, really. Yeah, 12.7 centimeter guns there. 12s. No, I'll be fine, don't worry. It'll not take much in the way of alternates to take these guys down, to be honest. Okay. A little bit of airfield damage there. Interesting that it has auxiliaries there. It's weird. I don't know why you'd move aircraft into like an airbase that's actively being attacked. Kind of weird like that. I do wonder how it's doing on the supply front over there. Okay, so they're heading over here to Naha. Is it Naha? Sorry, Naga. So they're moving over to Naga. Naha is, of course, in Okinawa. They're moving over there to Naga to actually go ahead and pick up the rest of the force, which is over here to Butian. Should be good there. Okay, so additional forces have arrived over here now. How you doing there, Yukron? Not massively. The replay should be uploaded by now. We're just getting to grips with the actual turn here now. Okay. Right, so we've got the 55th Engineer Regiment, 15th Independent Engineer Regiment, the 4th Independent Engineer Regiment. We need more engineers, really. But we're looking at about 1,500 assault value here now. These guys will be building up their own fortifications, so you can see that the divisions already have fortifications here. Hello there, Ragnar. No carriers have been lost so far. Can you show your LCUs at Bataan? Sure. So we have this divided up. We've got the 33rd Division divided up, the 16th divided up. We've got the 2nd Engineer Regiment and the 21st Engineer Regiment and the 3rd Independent Engineer Regiments. Though in fairness, I'm considering actually taking these guys away from Bataan. We've got level 2 fortifications here. They're going to continue to dig in. The good news about the divisions, is the fact that they do have engineers, so they will continue to dig in. So I might take these engineer regiments away. The reason being that they have the Imperial Japanese Army engineers, and I'd rather have them over here at Singapore. As far as I'm concerned, I'm happy to let Bataan starve. I don't see the pressing need to destroy Bataan. It'll come when it comes, really. Singapore, however, I would like to take as soon as possible, really. Okay. I was hoping that we would have landed over there. Loading has supposedly been completed. I don't know why they didn't move out, man. No, I'm not going to bombard Singapore. It's just not worthwhile. All we're doing there really is just having forces in place. No, I don't think I'm going to bombard with the LCUs. The reason being, he's got a significant amount of artillery there. It's the same thing at Bataan, really. Like, we're not going to bombard at Bataan because it's just not worthwhile doing. I mean, all we need to do is just use our air power. I'm going to try and amass as much force as I can, and then I'd rather go for a deliberate attack. It might be that we go for a bombardment attack just to figure out what his rough AV is. But then again, it reveals what our AV is as well, so it's one of those. I'd rather wait. I'd rather wait until we have it, really. Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at the air losses at the moment. Okay, so we do have some infantry aboard here now. Right, that's really good news. A decent amount as well. I mean, 20 squads there, some HMGs, some actual guns as well, which is interesting. Yeah, so these guys can move, and they will land over here next turn. We're still looking at reconnaissance, and it's still showcasing nothing there. Okay. But yeah, we'll take that base next turn, which would be good news. It gives us another base just to actually base fighters at if we need to. If I take a look over here, so Singkawang is 9 hexes from Palembang. This is 8 hexes from Palembang. But it's one of those of where, if you look there, Osthaven's 11 hexes. From Singkawang is 12 hexes. But yeah, I could actually have the careful to freeze potentially base there at Pontianak, however the hell you pronounce it. And at least it would give them that little bit of extra range to go to this area here, rather than just Osthaven. But I will be looking towards stealing Katapang. It bloody doesn't have an airfield, which, yeah, kind of sinks that idea. Airfields could be built in this area. Yeah, level 1 airfield doesn't take a huge amount of effort, but it's not worthwhile doing. Right, potentially plenty of patrol boats there. Babar? Oh. The hell's Babar? Oh, Babar, right, okay. Yeah, I mean, these islands will be taken in the near future. Okay, so he's got 6 aircraft over there. Bombardment might be worthwhile there. I don't know. Right. So, the B detachment of the 4th Division men. So they're marching out over here then. I'm going to have them go attack that unit. Ideally finish it off or rough it up a bit. The issue is in Jungle Rough. Which isn't great, but they shouldn't be doing too well. What we're going to do then is attack this over here. So we'll take that base. Okay. Yeah, it's okay, but it's just one of those of Kopang's within range. I mean, Barbar would be okay, but I'm not that worried about Darwin. I mean, Darwin's effectively shut down now anyway. Bombardment from Barbar. Yeah, I mean, this is it. He can't really operate out of Darwin now. I mean, he could try, but we've got Kopang. It might be a base invested in the near future, but not right now. It's not really, I don't know. I just can't say it's not high on the agenda right now. Okay, but it's a good suggestion. It's a good suggestion. Yeah, for fighters, but it's, I mean, it's another base then that I have to build up. It's another base then that I have to get aviation support to. Kopang works fine for the time being. Okay, let's go through the operation report. But it's a good suggestion. I'm not going to say it isn't. Okay, so they're grounded. I will take a look at aircraft losses in a moment as well, actually. Written off, unfortunately. We lose the pilot over there. Ah, boo. Supposedly there are 2 allied ships near Wake. I don't know about that. That could be our submarine, to be fair. That's something I'm going to have to check out. A trophy. I can't remember exactly where that is now. Salamua. Yeah, so Allied level bomber sighted of Savai. I don't know why he just doesn't just bomb Savai. It really just does not make any sense. I need to decide what aircraft are going to go aboard the MKB as well. Loss of the AV Kamoy on the 4th of January is admitted. Yeah, well this is it, isn't it? Like, sometimes you could take these reports with a bit of salt, really. I'm going to be taking care of these soon. Previous reports on the sinking of the SS Pike is incorrect. Intelligence report ship is still in service. Okay. So the 33rd KUT arrives at Oyata. Oyata, I don't know how you pronounce that. 31st KUT 1 arrives at Clark. 39th JN AF unit arrives at Tokyo. That's good. Alright. Yeah, so we do have some reports to take a look at now. Aircraft losses, so today... So, yeah, that's pretty good. So he loses 4 Buffalo. I don't think he lost a Catalina. Yeah, that's a shame. So they go home damaged, but unfortunately they survive. He has lost a Hudson. Hudson to operations. That could be around Australia, to be honest. So we lose an Oscar. Yeah, I suppose we've lost more aircraft today, but this is it, operational losses. You do have that slow drip feed of losses there from operational. Which is a shame, but it happens. Okay. But yeah, Tojo's are still looking good, which is good for me. Happy with that. But yeah, we shot down a few buffaloes, which is very nice. Yeah, especially to Japan. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, this is it. The Imperial Japanese Navy had an army, and the Imperial Japanese Army had a navy. It's fantastic, to be honest. Okay. Right, the vast majority of the New Caledonia invasion force is almost at Comac, so they're going to be getting ready to get out of here. Right, these guys have arrived at Comac, thankfully undetected. I'm becoming increasingly concerned about their well-being. I don't know. I don't think he's here at Wellington. I mean, thankfully it's still 35 hexes to Comac, but it is a worrisome prospect right now. Yeah, that's a shame. They've not even begun to unload yet. How many could I theoretically dock in here? If I get rid of these patrol boats, how many could fit? Yeah, there's not much in the way of room there. If I could get some of them docked, I'd be happy. Have these guys on transports? Okay. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. We could, potentially take a look at the fatigue level of the pilot of the I-10, maybe, to try and figure out if he did fly or not. Right, so that's... Yeah, we might only be able to fit one in there. Go with the one that's got the most troops on then. Are they all the same tonnage? Wasimi or Hoshimi. Yeah, they're actually quite good ships as well. I would like to have these sent back to Japan in the near future. Okay. So, at least one of them can dock, which will expedite things somewhat. These guys are going to continue to unload. I'll have the patrol boats with them, then. Yeah. So we'll get the actual aviation unloaded over here. Yeah. So it's the IJ, the Navy, and the IJ, the Army. Yes, but no. I mean, this is it. Okay. I am going to be looking towards potentially basing some H6K4s over here at Comac. Probably could do it now if the aviation spot's going to be available next turn. But just trying to figure out where those H6K4s are going to come from, really. Okay. I don't know. He's either slipped out maybe to the south, or he's still at Wellington. I think if he was to head north, then I don't know. It's just strange. It's just, I don't know. He still might be there. I'd have to see what the actual fatigue was last time. I think what we need to do then... The thing is, I don't have any information over Wellington. So I don't think it flew, or... It might have been prevented due to the weather. I don't know. I think what we'll do then is we'll potentially fly reconnaissance once again tonight. The submarine might have moved out of range before it could launch, but then again it would be surprising considering that the turn begins at night. I'd have to take a look at the previous turn to compare the actual fatigue, really. There might be other ways to actually figure out whether or not it flew, but I'm not seeing detection over Wellington, so I'm not entirely convinced that it flew Or that it, I don't know, it might have missed something. It might have missed everything, apparently. But I'll look to run reconnaissance again anyway. Okay. These guys are undetected, which is good news. I mean, this is it. He did have his cruiser task force, and it does seem entirely likely that it is probably around here somewhere. Baganger. Right, so the 56th Division will arrive here tomorrow. So from tomorrow, it's going to be another long march. But they're about halfway there to Port Moresby. You can see we don't have that far to go. It's taken them a long time to march, but they're about 43 miles out of the 92 total miles. Eventually they will arrive there. And that is going to be 436 assault value. Which is going to be good. And the issue is with this area is, if I take a look over here at the weather one, as you can see, this is all the malaria zone. It's the same with the cold zone over here, but the malaria zone is a pain in the arse, and it increases the amount of disruption, fatigue. I think you do get disabled troops as well if they're not in proper bases. You have to have a base of a certain size to actually be able to negate that impact, really. Okay, additional fuel there. And as to whether I even have that fuel move out to Kopang, to be honest, I might have it moved to Kendari or maybe even over here to Namala. Yeah, to be honest. Okay, so they're heading to Namala. Yeah. He's stopped actually running the bombardment at Ambon, which is fine by me. So what we need to do then is we'll get the battleships in place over here at Namala, also get them rearmed, and then we'll go with round-the-clock bombardment. And the beautiful thing is they're only having to go, like, literally, so what, 40, it's only about an 8-mile trip now, really. It's going to be a nice turnover. I think what we'll do then is have 2 battleships bombard, 2 rearm, 2 bombard, 2 rearm. Let's keep it up like that, really. It's going to be, it's kind of going to be the approach with how we'll deal with Fiji, really. Yeah, there's a little more of a pain in the ass. Yeah, I can imagine it's awful. I could say I would never, ever want that. But then again, I would be surprised if I ever went to New Guinea. So we do occupy the base over here. It looks like we occupied this base as well, which is very nice. That's good. So we have the majority of Celebes under our control, which is good news. We have arrived over here, so I'm going to have these troops attack next turn, then. Okay. Are they just patrolling Venabana down? Oh, they have... Ah, right. The submarine tender, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, wow. Okay, so the 41st Regiment has arrived. So they're going to begin to unpack, but I'm going to have them shifted over into Singapore itself. Oof, twice. Bloody hell. Definitely not what you would want, then. Core headquarters. I could do with having a higher level headquarters in the nearby area, actually. I don't know if I need an army headquarters, actually, or whether an actual air headquarters would do fine. Southern Army is 9. I might look to have Southern Army moved into this area then. That would help us out. But I'll see on that one. Obviously, I'd have to move a significant amount of assets to do that. But I'll have to see. Obviously, having additional headquarters within range and different levels of headquarters does actually give you a genuine benefit to the AV. It is a potentially quite substantial benefit as well to AV. So it's definitely worthwhile bearing in mind. Yeah. Okay. Again, I'm going to be looking seriously at taking the actual engineers from Bhutan. Mind if we begin to have a march out. It's one of those of, I don't know. If I rebuild the unit. See, yeah, they've still got level 2 fortifications. Yeah, so that's a 100% intact division. That is a 98% intact division there. I think what I'm going to do then is also keep them separated here. The reason being, obviously to... Well, then again, he's obviously going to notice the withdrawal of forces, isn't he? There's no way he's not going to notice that. We could try to hide what's actually being removed. Yeah, just try and keep the numbers large. He might not notice then, per se. But I might have the engineers and the artillery potentially pulled out. I don't know how much supply he has here. I'd imagine he's got enough supply for I don't know, for a while yet. But the thing is, it is being slowly but surely being chipped away at. And the thing is, if he begins to assault and begins to, like, try and launch a counterattack... yeah. He would use more. I don't think he'd be able to push back the 2 divisions. But it is something to potentially take into consideration. I think we can get away with moving the engineers out. I think they would be significantly more useful elsewhere, really. Just of greater use. Just greater use, isn't it? Okay, so we've got more Vals over here, which is excellent. I might have the Vals actually made available to attack over here. Yeah. I mean, I am fortifying Clark as well, so if they were forced back, they would be forced back into level 3 fortifications. Clark is... a jungle rough. I don't know why it changes colour on bases, actually. That's interesting. I think it's Jungle Rough. I wish it told you on there, actually. I think it's Jungle Rough. So that'd be ×3 terrain. I think it's Jungle Rough. I can't really see with the road, you know. Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, this is it. There's only one way out of Bhutan, and that's to Clark. And it's got a secondary road here, so it's not the fastest route either. I mean, even over here at Clark, I mean, that level 3 fortification there. That does make a considerable difference. And if it is indeed... Jungle Rough, and that's like ×3 defensive terrain. So it turned whatever AV, so if we had 100 AV, it turned into 300 AV. So yeah, even if he beat them the first time and forced them to retreat to Clark, I don't know, I think if anything it would just accelerate the inevitable, to be honest. Okay, thankfully he's not moving that unit, quite happy about that. I am moving engineers towards Victoria Point as well, aviation engineers actually. How you doing there, Parrot? Welcome, my friends. Okay. Still a surprising amount of aircraft there. Oh, we have arrived here, though, with the 6th RTA. So he has got the single unit over here. Right, so we will be able to seize this airbase, which is fantastic, actually, in one mind. Which is jungle, so I think that's going to be ×2 defensive terrain there. Ah, excellent. So we'll take that. Thank you very much, Vampire, for the donation. Much appreciated, my friend. It wasn't a terribly exciting turn. We did bombard Port Headland. Not really dramatic amounts of damage, but we've not seen anything in the area either. So if there was something then at Port Headland, I can imagine it's probably docked up, and it's about it, really. Yeah, a couple of submarine attacks. He did almost get lucky. He did have a submarine attack this force over here, and he did have a submarine attack the AS to the north. I'd have preferred he didn't know about the AS. I would have preferred that. I think the wise thing to do would probably have it change direction. It is interesting, though. It does make me wonder, is it just happenstance, or does he actually have those submarines patrolling a certain pattern? Is he sending more submarines out that way? I don't know, but then again, it seems as if the actual submarine to the north had moved south. Oh no. All he detected was a submarine tender. I think the submarine came from this way and then headed south. In all honesty, I mean, what does that suggest? I mean, Midway is a considerable way. I mean, there's a lot that's out there. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It could be like a submarine heading home. It could be maybe another submarine heading to the area. I don't know, maybe it's just another submarine that we weren't aware of. But we have had... Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get some more float planes out here. Just float planes all over, really. Okay. So we have had this Lily Squadron moved over here. These guys are very good, actually. We take a look. So, pilots. Yeah, you can look at the experience of these guys. These guys are phenomenal ASW pilots. And these have been, from our train program, these guys are effing phenomenal. I mean, the defensive is amazing as well. So these guys are an ASW. They are going to cause a lot of problems. Well, this is it. I mean, these guys will begin to actually attack the submarines. We're not just going to spot them, we are going to attack them. These guys are in naval surge. Let's see, if I divide the unit, but have we actually got the aviation support over here yet? Yeah, it's actually just arrived. How long is it going to take to unpack? So it's going to take 2 days to unpack. But we have got a base force over here now, which is good news. Okay. Looks like the aviation support is there already. So if I go ahead and take a look at this, how much does that divide into? So 7, 7, okay, so 7, 6, and 6. Well, this is the plan's looking fair. I mean, we haven't seen anything of Wellington, but I'm not entirely convinced that the I-10 flew her float plane last night. So I don't know. I'm going to look to actually run reconnaissance over the air base. Well, run reconnaissance over Wellington once again. Yeah, I'm not ready to accept that he has definitely left Wellington yet, but I am kind of leaning towards that as time goes on, really. I forget when the upgraded depth charges arrive. It's sometime later. I'd have to double check that. Okay. So I'm going to have that transferred to Wakanai. So Poro doesn't have any aviation support. None there either. None over here. I could maybe do again a little bit of aviation support to one of these bases over here. So we do have the G4M1s running the ASW as well. I can see, yeah, you can see the difference here. I think what we might do, it might be that we move the float planes and the KI-48s over here to Wakanai, to be honest. 6. Yeah. I'm going to have them shifted over here to Wakanai. So it is a little bit over the amount of aviation support there. I should be able to handle that anyway. I know, but saying that, you've got to bear in mind that ASW range. So the range of 9 is not the true range. How it works is ASW cuts that range in half. So it says 9, but in reality, due to ASW missions, they're only flying about 4 or 5 hexes. I think it'll round down to 4 hexes. So it's one of those of it's all well and good trying to catch them on the way out, but if I can catch them here, as you can see this is 3 hexes away, so 4 hexes really isn't that far. I mean, it's about there. So at least in this position, they are covering the area where the submarines are a danger, really. If I take a look there, so from Wakanai to Toyohara is 3 hexes, so we are covering the area that actually matters. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, this is it, isn't it? When you see 9 hexes, you think, oh, yeah, that's plenty of range. But in reality, they're only flying about 4 hexes. 4 to 5 hexes, but I'm going to say 4 hexes. I do find it very, very interesting that he's moving forces at Nanyang. I'm quite happy about that. They appear to be heading towards Xi'an, which is really good news, because obviously we are building up forces over here at Luoyang to actually march on Nanyang, so that's really good news. I've still marched my unit over here, so ideally this indicates that he's not going to respond to this. We did eject this unit from over here, which is good news. As far as I'm concerned, do I go chase it down? Actually, for the slightest moment then, I thought I saw like a movement indicator there from a Chang, but apparently not. Yeah, I think we're looking about the 19th of February to get everything in place. We've got, the good news is we've got the 6th and the 2nd Tank Regiment in place. So these guys are making their way towards the rendezvous point. So yeah, they've got 184 miles to go in total until they arrive over here. It looks as if he is going to leave this unit here, which is fantastic. So I've ordered a shock attack. So it's going to be nice to launch a shock attack. It's in the clear terrain, so I'm very happy with that. I'd much rather shock attack on clear terrain rather than on wooded rough, so that's going to be excellent. The best case scenario would be to completely destroy the unit, but my luck's not that good. But yeah, that's very nice. The good news is he's not trying to run. It gives us time to actually get a unit here, so even if we... So if we shock attack and he's forced to retreat, he'll probably retreat to here. I don't think he could go anywhere else. He could maybe go there, but I don't know. I doubt that one. We've also got the 51st Reconnaissance Regiment over here, which is making good progress. So if we take a look, they're, yeah, also 184 miles away, so they might theoretically arrive at roughly the same time. Yeah, they're driving along the major roads there. So they should be moving at 6 miles per day there. Yeah, you should still never have gotten involved in a land war in Asia. But what if you're Asian? What do you do? All the wars you fight are land wars in Asia. Okay. I had a thought about actually moving some Dinas elsewhere. I can't remember where I was actually going to consider moving them I might have the demons moved over here, actually, or somewhere around here, to actually cover this area. Look out for enemy submarines, really. Orimo. To be honest, I could probably do with having you shifted. Right, so they're headed to Midway. Ah, thank you very much there for the follow. Much appreciated, my friend. So we're going to have the other oiler begin to head for Midway. I could even potentially have that one head towards some Wake, to be honest. It doesn't make a huge bit of difference at the moment. I was thinking by the time it arrives over down this way. But we'll have it head towards that direction. I'm going to have it based at Wake. There's no issue there. It can always refuel underway. Right, there we go. So we've finally got a destroyer, and we've got the My Armoru over here. So what we're going to do then is dock up and get these troops moved out of here. Because I could make much better use of these forces. But what I am going to do then is have the Sasebo first SLF actually loaded up. Now take a look, the first Sasebo is... It's a good 60 AV. I mean, a good 60 AV is... It makes a pretty big difference, to be honest. It does make a considerable difference. Yeah, I think we can confirm the fact that he does not have any infantry there. Otherwise, he would have seized the base. I can imagine he's pretty frustrated about that. I can imagine he's not particularly happy about that one, so that's kind of amusing. I might just have to say that was, oh yeah, that's completely tactical. Oh yes, I knew he had no, infantry. Nah, that was a complete mistake. So I'm actually quite fortunate in the fact that, yeah, I didn't have any infantry. Oh, I have tasted that salty dish before, my friend. Well, he's got infantry there, one of our bases there, at North Borneo. But due to the fact that his force has no infantry, he can't actually seize the base. So you can see he's actually moving out of there. But yeah, we have got forces being sent out that way in the near future. They should actually be loaded up now. So we'll have additional reinforcements. Is it... it's not... it's Balfour. Okay, yeah. So we are going to have additional forces over there, Balfour. How's the division over here going then? So the 21st Division then is... one more day and then they'll begin moving out. So that's good news. If I take a look then, these guys are still unloading. So they've unloaded the entirety of the 21st Division. So what we're doing now is actually bringing in additional supplies. So you can see that is an additional 11, nearly 12,000 tons of supply there. Which is going to be really welcomed. That's going to be very welcome. It's going to increase the amount of supply in the Malayan Peninsula, really. And it just in general brings more supplies to this area, which is quite good. Yeah. And this is it. I mean, like, in theory, it would appear that it's unguarded, but you can imagine there would be some sort of garrison there. Not like a full unit, but there would be some Imperial Japanese personnel. That's the only way I can imagine, because otherwise they just walk into an open base, really. But if I take a look then, some Salazar's move. Where's the Yokosuka? Oh, excellent. Right, so we've got the first element of the Yokosuka, we've got the second element of the Yokosuka. So these guys will be in position, I'm going to say, probably... Well, they should arrive over here at Langson in a day, perhaps, maybe a day or two. I forgot what the actual rail travel is. I'm going to have to double check how far you can actually move via rail. But I'd imagine they're going to be probably there tomorrow. So that's probably going to be about 1 to 3 days unpacking. So by the time they're unpacked, yes, I don't know, maybe about the 14th or 15th of February they'll be ready for action, which is good news. Not long either way, really. I'm going to try to find the part with the movement. Where's railway? Okay. So a minor rail looks like they move at 60 per day. Ah, yeah. Is it per day? The speed of movement over land by ground usage depends on the terrain being travelled. The basic march speed of the ground unit is obtained from the form table, showing the maximum number of miles moved per 12-hour period over each train type. Okay. Depending on the time. No, I think that's incorrect. I think basically, yeah, I think what it means is the actual rail. So this would be major rail. This would be secondary rail. I think you can march just on rail tracks alone. Like, there's no... In theory, there shouldn't be a road there. There's a trail there. So I think you can march on the actual rail lines. Yeah, movement along rail lines. When both a railway and a road connect two adjacent hexes, land units moving between the two hexes, and that are not a strategic mode will use the movement rate of the road. Units must be used a strategic mode to use the railway movement rates. When there's a railway connected to adjacent hexes but no road, then there's a special class of road present as well, called a railway trail. This is a special type of road that stimulates the ability for the land unit to move along railway roadbeds, which can provide pass through rough or jungle terrain. Land units are not using strategic movement along railway lines. There's no main or secondary road also present at the railway train. Okay. So the I think the railway trail's about 10 miles per day. I don't know what the actual movement... Yeah, so Railway Minor is about 60 miles per day. Railway Major is 120 miles per day. I don't know. I'd have to take a look at where they were and where they are. It might be that they're moving about... It might be on rail lines moving at 16 miles per phase, i.e. 60 in the morning, 60 in the evening. I'd have to double check, but it might be just 16 tall. Okay. But either way, they're making good progress. Obviously, had it been a major rail line, we probably would have been here by now. Right. So I've still got some aircraft over here that I can transfer over to Hankal. And the good news is we've got the Oscars here, which I'm going to be looking to build up as well. Yeah. I'm just 13 there at the moment. Obviously, we'll be transferring additional ones over shortly, so we could have another 4 moved over if we wanted to do so now. So I've got 14 1Cs in the pool here, which is legitimately the perfect number there. I may have them upgraded as well. Then the entire squadron is in 1Cs, which is really quite nice. But then again, it's a question of do I want to use them for that, really? Okay. Yeah, something to consider. We'll have to figure out where we need the aircraft more. I mean, I do worry about potentially if the American carriers are loose, whereupon the Hus, the Goose. I don't know. They could be down here somewhere. I wish we'd seen something at Wellington, you know. I just think it's very strange that he wouldn't be flying a single goddamn aircraft. I mean, I know it is possible for these submarines to miss that, but there's a lot of submarines in the area. It is an interesting one. What I'm going to do then is so enemy units, task forces. So all I see now is one at Wallace. The submarines in this area, and then the tanker there moving east. But there's something else other than a tanker in there. I could do with some fighters over here, to be honest. It might be that I potentially upgrade that squadron over there to Clark. Or we find another squadron from somewhere. Right, those guys are heading back to Bavardwan. That's good news. Well, they're still unloaded, which is good, but I'm going to need additional fuel there. So what I'm going to do then is actually have these guys head into Namla. They can unload their cargo. So it's only 5,000 units of fuel, but we are moving things out from Kopang over to here, really. And we're just going to maintain an air presence over at Kopang. There's a few ships over there that I'm probably going to bring the troops out within the near future. Worst case scenario, they were just tankers, but considering the aircraft spotted a part of a task force. I don't know. It's one of those. I think he's probably just trying to bait us, to be honest. Or he might be just trying to slip something into Moresby. What I'll do is obviously have our... I'll just move the submarines near the port, really. If he moves through the Torres Strait, it's kind of like, well, where's it going to go? Is it going to go to Darwin? Then okay, but he's not going to go anywhere past Darwin. I mean, it's plausible that even if he makes it to Darwin, he might yet be attacked. As far as I'm aware, he's not aware of these submarines over here. Okay, so we're unloading the additional infantry there. We did have a weird... Oh, actually, no, I'll tell you what. I forgot about this signal intelligence, didn't I? Kagayan. Heavy volume of radio transmissions detected at San Diego. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Buckle. Don't know where that is, actually. I'll have to check. But yeah, I mean, the heavy volume of radio transmissions detected at San Diego. I mean, this is it. There are convoys moving. And we need to go get them. I think what we're going to do then is I'm going to go ahead and assemble the task force here. And then we can decide whether or not to dispatch it this turn. But yeah, what we're going to do here then is have Soru, Shokaku, Zuikaku, Hiru. So this is going to form the 4 fleet carriers of the task force. I'm going to send down Hiei Kirishima. Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, so Hiei Kirishima will accompany them. Now, I would like to have additional heavy cruisers here. So Gunner Gates is happening now. See, I do have another Tone class. But I would need 3 days to actually bring her up to readiness status. So this is where I'm sort of like of the opinion, do we wait 3 days to actually have the additional heavy cruisers brought up to readiness. Give the Oilers 3 days to get out ahead as well. It's one of those of, well, I'm making better use of my resources. I could always refuel on the way, obviously yet to see, but it's one of those where we might potentially miss, well, some fuel might get spilled. But this is it, yeah. We can definitely decide what we're going to be doing here. Hope that doesn't win a bunch of sales end up. Right. Do you have another tone? Yeah, there's another tone actually in the port. I love the tone class. It's just that endurance is just spectacular. It's just absolutely spectacular, man. If I go and... So what I'm going to do is minimize that. I tell you, actually, I need to save... I tell you what, I'll make a save here. And then I can actually take a look at the track and I can send the actual turn replay off to THG as well, actually. Okay, there we go. Just gonna go ahead and send that over to THG, so I'll just be a second here, guys. And then I'll go ahead and put that in the actual tracker. We'll take a look at the tracker, but I'm more interested just to actually take a look at showcasing the difference in, like, fuel efficiency between, like, the tone class and, let's say, the BBs. Right. Okay, that's been sent off. Yeah, the combat replay. You gotta bear in mind, like, I have to send over the replay. I mean, I don't have to. It's like, I can send it over to him, obviously, like, the combat replay. Obviously, he doesn't see it from our point of view, he sees it from his own point of view. Like, I could do that when I send him the actual save, but it's so... Yeah, sorry, it's a bit strange, I didn't explain that. It's basically so, he can see the replay without having to actually have it turn, but he only sees it from his own point of view, really. Hard to explain, because obviously I don't play the Allies. Well, I mean, yeah, just think, obviously, with the Marianas, play by email, just how that works. That's when he sends me the, replay, but obviously he sends me the turn as well. But I watch the replay first. Right, anyway. Let's get the tracker ready here. There we go. Yeah, don't worry, I'm not going to send him any secrets. Dear. Right, I'll go ahead and read the turn. But anyhow, how are you guys doing? It's been a little while, hasn't it, really? I've not done any serious streaming this week, actually. But how are you guys doing? I've missed you. Have you missed me? It's nice to be a little community again, isn't it? Okay. So we're going to take a look at the current turn. Some interesting things to take into consideration there. But yeah, you can see the amount that have come into service now is quite nice. Apparently Langley was sunk, really? Was it? I can't remember about that. Oh, I'll see you later, Ben Mirror. Have a good one, my friend. You know what, I need to go ahead and watch the Sand Pebbles. It's been on the list for a while. I do need to watch that. Snail guy. Oh my. I thought about that one for a second. Like, oh, was that? Oh, right, yeah. So yeah, apparently we had... Yeah, I mean, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? I think that was supposedly Pipey and sank a truck by mines, actually. Okay. Apparently this minefield's gone. I'd have to check out where that minefield actually was to begin with. But yeah, we'll take a look then. So... Actually, what I'm going to do is take a quick look at the actual map. I'd like to see how we're looking over search. Yeah, so you can see also that's MKB there. No. It might take a day or two. They are in transport mode as well, which is not great. So they do need to actually be... I really do wish they had actually arrived at Comac this turn. Well, they have arrived at Comac, but they haven't unloaded at Comac yet. Had they unloaded at Comac, then I could have had them in combat mode for the next turn. Or potentially unpacked, or etc. Speaking of mines, have you started mining the home islands as self-defense? I don't... Well, we've got the mines already. I don't want to use any additional mines, because the thing is, it's like I don't get that many mines to begin with. And the majority of the ports on the home islands are of a size where he can't actually raid the port directly. So mines are well and good, but they're not terribly useful around the home islands. They will be in the future. Where do you think THG will attack first when he feels confident to make his own offensive? I mean, that is a fantastic question, to be honest. That's a fantastic question. Where? Where would he go? And to be honest, it is a question I find difficult to answer. I don't agree with his movement to the carriers. I don't know exactly how many carriers he has in the south, and this is what I find difficult to try and make a persuasive strategy out of. I mean, in some ways, it depends on what we do. I mean, this is it. It's like he's given us the initiative. So it very much is a case of, well, what's going to happen first? Is he going to make a move first, or is he going to come from us making the move? I think he's going to be aware. He's got to be aware that I have some idea where the carriers are, because the thing is, he saw that the plane was shot down there. So I think he knows his carriers have been spotted. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, it's like, we don't know exactly how many carriers were there. We only saw one CV, we saw one CV, two CVL, and one CL. And that was a 4-ship, well, 4 ships in a task force. But then we don't know anything else about the area there. Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. I was thinking of the island between Fusan and Fukuoka. Yeah, potentially so. How are you doing there, military history visualized? It is indeed the Pope there. I was like, Mom, hour. Have a beautiful evening, my man. Thank you very much for the subscription the other day as well. Much appreciated. Good luck. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, have a good weekend. But yeah, to go on to the point of where he's going to attack. It is hard to say. And as far as I know, there's 2 carriers there. I mean, that is as far as I know. I do not agree with that. I think it is. I just can't agree with it. It just goes against all US strategic planning at this point. Just all actual goddamn decency as well. It's just, you do not move the USN carriers to Wellington. It just doesn't make sense. But okay, we'll try and figure this one out. So we'll wargame this. So supposedly we spotted here around about 2 carriers worth of aircraft. But this is it. We might not have spotted everything because obviously it was an incomplete report. Sorry, it was from a pilot that was shot down. Yeah, sometimes the best move is the one you don't make. Well, that's it, isn't it, really? So, okay. So, potentially 2. Should have wrote CV there, so let's do that properly. So apparently two. God, I can't speak. So apparently 2 CVs over here. Well, this is it, 2 to 4 carriers. And this is what he's got at the moment. I think he's got about 4 USN carriers at the max right now. So then it comes down to... We've not had information of this area. So we've got submarines around about this way, haven't we? There's a couple around about this area. There's one there as well, kinda. So we know there's submarines roughly in that area. But we don't have any submarines down here. So I don't know. He's either moving out this way, perhaps. Or he's still at Wellington. It's hard to say. I think I'm guilty of an assumption that he is going to attack. But I might be wrong. I think this is it. I think I might be biased towards him actually attacking due to the fact that I just think the strategy is just completely incomprehensible to begin with, really. Sorry, I can't speak at the moment. But he might not actually be looking towards attacking. He might be moving and potentially looking to link up with the Royal Navy carriers, which I'm not gonna lie, I've not heard of it ever happening, but it'd be interesting. To be honest, it would be rather imaginative. Can't say I agree with it. Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, give him an opportunity and he will. And this is it. We have set something of a precedent by having the MKB raid towards Perth. He may think, right, okay, that son of a bitch has raided towards Perth. If he does that again, I'm going to destroy him. And he could. I mean, if he had the USN carriers over there, yeah, he absolutely could destroy the MKB. Well, he'd have a pretty damn good shot at it, really. Especially compared with the the British carriers. Which I can imagine. I can imagine the British carriers probably at Perth by now. Which is something to take into consideration. Which is why I'm happy that the MKB is moving away from Kopang, and just ships in general are moving away from Kopang. The ships that are at Kopang can dock, which is good news. So they can be protected by air power and the port itself. I've always got to be conscious of the amount of shipping that we have on the extremities of the Empire. So the thing is, they're just loosely held islands. And as we saw at Talawa, an enemy carrier force can come in there, and it can raid, and then it can bugger off. But yeah. See, he has a task force around about this area here that's moving towards... Well, actually, let's do this properly. So he has a task force that's about there, that's moving towards Perth. Sorry, not Perth, to Mosby. He could be looking to maybe go... He might look to move this way, and then he might look to move to Brisbane. And one theory, I mean, this is my theory that if he was to actually attack, and to be honest, I don't think he will attack. But if he was to attack, I mean, this is the only way I could conceivably do it. If I was doing this, I think, right, okay, so if I'm going to be attacking, like, how would I do it? I think if I was to do it, and the thing is, it's like, you've got to expect that this is going to be predictable. We were lucky to actually pick up on him over here at Wellington. We could have missed that. Had we arrived a day later, or 2 days later. I don't know, there's been a lot of funky stuff going on around Wellington, to be honest. There's been a lot of funky stuff going around New Zealand in general, to be honest. There's been a distinct lack of convoys in that area. Just not been a lot going on, really. But yeah, so what I'm thinking is, then, if I was to do this, I'd move this way. I'd imagine that my opponent would know about this. So it's one of these of, well, if I moved along the Australian ports, maybe I could actually dodge the naval search. I'm obviously in port, so it is moving via the safest method there, really. Obviously, you've got the fuel and supply, you've got support here as well. And then he could potentially move this way. And then he could move to maybe support this area. Yeah, Melbourne. Is it Melbourne? Yeah, that's Brisbane. Is it Melbourne? Is Sydney here? You know, I think is Sydney about here and Melbourne, Brisbane's there and Melbourne's there. I'll tell you what, I'm not an Aussie, sorry, so I forget sometimes. It's been a while since I actually looked at the map. Whoops. Let's say. Say. English is hard. Yeah, it is Melbourne. Yeah, there we go. So I was thinking that was Sydney, but... Sorry, I was thinking that was Brisbane, but it's actually... Yeah, I was doing the bloody wrong order. I'm thinking... Fucking hell. My bad. Right, anyway. So, yeah. So that's Sydney, that's Brisbane, that's Melbourne, okay. Well, this is it, isn't it? Because it's like... all he's doing really here is giving us the initiative. I mean, fairness, had we not actually detected the enemy carriers, we would have been going with the assumption that he still had his carriers in the Central Pacific. So it's one of those of where it's by sheer audacity that the plan has some merit. But the fact is, it's like, he's got to count on surprising us. And as we've pointed out, it's not entirely possible. We've proven it's not possible as such. He almost got away with it, but it's very likely that we would detect him. And a whole lot of level bombers in Oz at this point. Well, I mean, this is it. He'd have a decent amount. He'd probably have enough to support his carriers. But it's just one of these of like, I don't know why he'd do it. I just can't see a scenario why he would do this. The only way I can see him moving into the area is potentially to raid. I think there's only really two options. In the Coral Sea Elites, he might be looking to support operations against Port Moresby. He might look to actually move the carriers to the area. And then maybe use his air power to cover surface ships to actually bombard the division once it arrived at Moresby. He might be looking to cover a transference of troops to Moresby, but I think that would be... I don't know, it's one of those of where, okay, but the thing is it doesn't change the actual fundamental situation. So it's like, right now over Moresby, if we wanted to, we could fly naval bombers there, and he'll know that. He knows that. He'll be well aware of the fact that we have naval bombers there. I think I'm going to look at getting into match of fighters to Rabal, or obviously closer than that. Soon. If I can do it this turn, I'd like to do it this turn. If not, it'll be next turn. And we'll see what we can do. I might look at moving the guy for the 3-1Bs. I think we began to move them out of the area, but if I can, I'll see where they are. But I might move the guy for the 3-1Bs actually towards the Port Moresby area. Because then I could actually conceivably run the G3s or G4s in that area of naval attack, because they'd actually have an escort. And the only other one I could think of, in the Coral Sea at least, is, I don't know, he might look to move something like that. He might look to just raid this area. Which, okay, but then again, I'm going to go ahead and say that's not likely. He's going to be aware of the fact that we have bombers out here. He may not be aware of bombers around this area, but I imagine he'll probably have to suspect that there are somewhere. Another idea is maybe he's moving south and then moving something like this. I could be moving to Fiji to raid this area. But I just don't think it's likely. I just don't know. It's hard. It's really hard to say. So the thing is, I don't know exactly how many carriers he has. If he has 2 carriers, then it's even less likely to do something like that. B-17 can reach Port Moresby from Townsville/Charter Towers. And it depends obviously on what size airfield it's got. I think it needs like level 6 or level 7 airfields to operate B-17s. I think it might be like 6 to operate them. I forget exactly where it says in the manual, but I'd have to take a look. But it's a fairly large airfield. He's only literally, in the last few turns, got an airfield at Fiji. Near enough that size. I think it is large enough to now operate B-17s if you had them. But you might have them there at Fiji. I don't know. I think it's either a movement to support operations against Port Moresby, or, well, obviously to support operations for Port Moresby's defense, perhaps. To raid. He could be looking to move to Fiji. He could have been potentially like, I don't know. It depends on which path he came. He might have come down like this or something like that. We could obviously try to figure it out. But he might have moved down like this to refuel at Wellington, or to additionally, he might have linked up with forces at New Zealand in general, so potentially like cruisers and etc., like surface forces. We know he has troop transports in this area. But then it's a case of, he just doesn't have the power right now. There was no point reinforcing Fiji. He's already reinforced it, so why would you do it again? He knows the area is... As to whether... Well, as to what degree he knows about the coverage that we have over the Fiji area. So as you guys can see, we do have coverage over the entire Fiji area now, which is good news. And it is coverage that is growing as well, which is very good. I don't know, to be honest. It might sound daft, but it very well could be that he's moving this way and then he's going to move this way. I think that's it. I think... That's the only thing I can think of. His idea could be send 2 carriers out towards the Indian Ocean to link up with the British. And then keep the other 2 carriers maybe at Pearl Harbor. But then it's like, he's moved 50% of his actual power from the Pacific. And it's like, he's not brave enough to really operate near the Kitapatai with 4 carriers. Well, sorry, 3 or 4 carriers. We saw they had 3 carriers at Tarawa. So even with, like, the odds being 2 to 1, he wasn't particularly brave. So I don't think he's going to go for, like, lesser odds, like 3 to 1 odds. He might get another CV soon. And he will get more CVs. It could be that he might wait at Pearl Harbor for additional carriers to arrive. The thing is, well, if he's leaving himself in a position where it's 2 carriers... Well, this is it, like, 3... it's strange. Notice if we move 4 fleet carriers out into the eastern US waters, it's going to be 2 carriers for each one of his, really. And we could definitely win that engagement. Obviously, he doesn't know that. It could very well be just a plan, but it relies upon stealth, really. It could be where he thought, well, okay, I'm going to move to Wellington, refuel at Wellington. It's so far away, maybe he doesn't have things there. Or maybe I can avoid it. Which would make sense. And then maybe he moves south of Australia to move to the Indian Ocean. I think that's the only thing I can fathom. Which, it kind of does make me lean towards him having only like 2 carriers there. Maybe 3, but then I don't know. It's one of those of like, okay, sure, you send 2 carriers to the Indian Ocean, but what does that really achieve? Like, you might think, right, okay, I can try and stop the collapse of the Dutch East Indies now. The thing is, it's too late. I've already got the land-based airfields that I need. Yeah. Too late, really. But it's a fascinating conversation topic, really. Who knows? As time goes on, inevitably there will be parts of the puzzle that fit in place, really. It would be interesting to try and like have this like piece of information that makes this all make sense in his head, really. Well, in our heads. So right now, I just think it's just ridiculous. I think all it's done is just surrendered initiative to us in the Pacific, And ideally we will be able to make him pay severely for it. He might notice the lack of the MKB's presence, but then again, like, well, the MKB hasn't been that active in the Dutch East Indies. Mostly because it's just not had the need to be. Well, that's it, yeah. And if we hit one of the carriers or a submarine, that'd be fantastic, because it's just the end of the day, it'd just make our life a little bit easier, really. But, right, okay, what I'm going to go ahead and do then is, let's see, ships. Wondering if I can see then actual fuel usage actually. Okay, so that's the ships that we have right now. Oh, so I can actually see all the ships I'm in, so that's good to see. Mostly AKLs, to be honest. I was kind of hoping that we could see efficiency, to be honest. Okay. So we're nearly at 50 jakes a month. We do have 2 in the pool there. It might be worthwhile increasing the amount of jake production yet further. Which I might be able to get behind, to be honest. I would say if there are no CVs in New Zealand, then they have 4 probable directions to head. West Australia back towards Hawaii, or more likely East Australia into the Coral Sea, or into the Central Pacific through Fiji area. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know anything about that, to be honest. Okay. Something I'd like to take a look at is ship production, actually. We did take one of the ships and actually remove the acceleration to it, which was the CVL. So that was Ryuho. So it says that we have 1,385 points available. Points needed is 1,386. My worry is if I take another ship off at acceleration, am I going to lose all the points I've put into that? I don't think we've actually put into it, to be honest. But it's 16 days until the carrier Yunyo is actually finished, so I might just wait until the Yunyo is actually finished, which is also going to alleviate the pool here considerably. So if you take a look over there. This is an update, fucking course. I can see fuel efficiency on here, but I can't see it in other things. God damn it. Yes, you can see the amount of fuel use by the Yamato class. So you can see the Yunyo uses 12.73 fuel per hex. This thing uses 31.34. So basically double everything else. Except Shinano. Shinano's a big old beastie. Okay. Ah, right, so it's not just an immediate, like, cut and be. Right, okay, that makes sense. So every day a ship is in the acceleration mode, the arrival day reduces by 1 day. Okay, that's good to know about. I might take a look at putting the Yunyo on just normal production then, to be honest. See how that takes a look. Well, we'll see how that impacts the natural pool there, really. Yeah. Education, Nano. Maybe in the future. Right, save it there as well. Yeah. So it might be worthwhile taking Yunyo out to accelerate to status, and then that's going to alleviate the points for the pool there. So we're looking at 16 days. Yeah, so if I place her on normal construction, you can see that takes us down to 1470 there. So I feel what we'll do then is we do that then. At least then, I mean the Yunyo isn't going to arrive much in the way of earlier. I don't think she's going to arrive earlier. I don't know what date she historically arrives on. I can't remember if we have this as like random arrival date. Well, basically where it can arrive like 30 days earlier or 30 days later. I forget what settings we have really. But she's going to arrive and that's fine. I think the new aircraft carriers do come with them. I could be wrong though. Yeah, so I think that's what we're going to go for that. I mean, it's 16 days. Obviously, if that changes next turn, then at least we could see that. But we'll go with that. That should leave a good number of points actually in the pool then. Obviously, with that pool. I mean, if I was to take a look there. So, let's see. So, we produce... But then again, actual production is 1384, isn't it? To be honest, Pelelu, I wish I could give you the correct answer. We'll have to see, really. So that still takes us to 1417. It might be that I just have the Hio placed in normal status. And then we wait until Yunyo is ready. These are merchant. Okay. Yeah, so I think this is basically what we do here then. I mean, I could potentially accelerate one of the other cruisers perhaps, or maybe something else. I think yellow implies what's under construction right now. Interestingly enough, this is where you actually see where these available are. Got 20 midget subs available apparently. Yugumo class and eyes. Yeah, the seaplane cruisers will be converted to CVLs as soon as available, really. So what do we have? Kazagumo, which is another Yugumo class. How much does it cost us if we actually accelerate that? 1322. So we have 1348 at most, is it? So that would take us to 1342. We have 1384. Well, what I'm thinking here then is, it's like if I accelerate a light cruiser, I'm thinking that would take us over the limit. If I put this back here then, so let's see. Normal. Normal. Okay. So we're at 1302. If I place, if I go to Naval Yard. So if I place one of the light cruisers over here, so Yoda for example, that takes us to exactly 1384. Which, okay. But then, that's one of those, isn't it? It's like if it is indeed like each day they spend in accelerated state, they arrive one day sooner. I don't know, I might just do it with the DDs just because it's like they're going to arrive soon enough anyway. Which in some ways it's like, well, if they're going to arrive soon, why accelerate them? But then again, it's like at least I'm going to get the DDs a little bit earlier, and then at least I have those points available a little bit earlier to put into something of a long-term project. I guess what I'm going to go with is just what's going to get me, like, something sooner rather than later, really. Well, the Gumos are really good, to be honest. If I take a look, we'll see what's going to arrive soon. Ah, right, that's good to know there, Mark. Thank you very much. Oh, so this is all naval. Though arguably, the submarines would actually be more useful. That's expensive. I find the destroyers, they're not that much in the way of points there, to be honest. Yeah, they look to be about 20 points each, it seems. That takes us to 1368. $13.78. Yeah, I think that's the best I'm going to get there, unless there's something else. That takes it to 1380. I get what, 1382? 1381? That's not building. But yeah, then again, obviously it is worthwhile stockpiling the points. Because then that lets you do things. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree there. I'll see you later, that 80. Have a good one, my man. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I think what I'll do then is we're going to have Yunyo in about 16 days. But then again, is it worthwhile just to stockpile points for 16 days? I don't know. Then again, nah. Nah, I think it's okay. We'll save a tiny amount of points, but I think it's worthwhile just like getting a few destroyers out there a little bit quicker. I think once we obviously have Yunyon completed, and obviously we're then in a position where we have those points free, then we can definitely take a look at what else we could put them in. But yeah, I think we'll just go without them, really. It'd be worthwhile to get some additional destroyers a little bit earlier, I suppose. Yeah, well, I mean, you can get them earlier. It's like one of those of where the further away they are, so obviously from how it sounds. Yeah, so if you... yeah, well, that's it, isn't it, really? No, yeah, that is the best way to put it. Long-term investment, really, isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is, it might be what we do. But to be honest, I'm half tempted to take a look at, really, like, other warship types. Maybe more in the way of, like, destroyers, or maybe more in the way of submarines, to be honest. But then again, American ASW is going to get even better. So it's one of those, yeah. Plenty of choices to make there, really, on the matter. Well, it's one of these. If you accelerate ships, that means that you are using more points. Obviously, you don't have as many points in the pool, really. Yeah, shipyard points are generated spending heavy industrial points, which is indeed true. So it's one of those of, like, it's not free to do it, but it's not terribly expensive to do it either. It's just obviously something of a balancing act. But yeah, we'll go with that. Like, the carrier, like, yeah, 16 days, and then obviously that's going to remove a full fleet carrier from the production queue, which means we'll have more points theoretically available to spend elsewhere, really. Or at least we'll be able to accelerate one of the other carriers, have that arrive a little bit earlier. Yeah, indeed, resources and fuel. So I think that's, yeah, I think that's what we're going to do for this session. I think we'll call this session to an end here. Fairly good so far. I think what we need to do is just get some time just to refamiliarize ourselves with what the situation is at the moment. As far as I can say, China is... Is it? Is that movement? I hope it's not movement. Fuck, I hope it's not movement. That might be movement. What's the zooming keys? Ah, son of a bitch. Who's moving? Son of a bitch. Oh shit. Ah, shit. Well, it's one of those of, I don't know. I'm not going to say we should be scared as such. It's just, I don't know. It depends really on how much he's moving and where he's moving it to, really. It complicates things is all I can say. Yeah, it does complicate things. But it's not to say, I mean, this is it. It shouldn't be automatically assumed that he's moving to Hengyang. I mean, he has got to be aware of the fact that the division has moved away from Hengyang. He'll know about that. That's something to definitely watch. We know exactly how many units he has at Changsha. So, we can take a look by the numbers, really. And try and figure out what's been moved out. Which is really good information. Like, we can work out what is potentially the difference between, like, a core and what's, like, the difference between, like, a base force or, like, a headquarters. He might be moving out, like, a base force or something. He might be moving out, like, a headquarters or something from Changsha. So I don't think it's automatically, like, panic, and it's like, we wouldn't panic anyway. If he moves too much out of Changsha, then it becomes a point of, well, we might be able to force the issue at Changsha. If you banish Changsha entirely, then that's brilliant. Because when we do fight across the river, we're fighting clear terrain. And that's going to make a big difference. I think the sooner we have additional forces in position, I mean, we're looking at only a few days. I would have really preferred him to just stay fucking static, but it chooses now of all times. But then again, we are seeing a move at Nanyang. But not an aggressive move. I don't know, I feel like he might be just moving a unit back. So I mean, so you take a look at the actual base force that moved from south of Kueyang, north of Taeyong as well. Obviously along the road to the east, moved to that base and moved south, and it's now the position just south of the base there. He might just be looking to move engineers around, to be honest. I think either way, depending on what happens here, it all depends on how fast he can react. We do have these divisions marching. They're going to be here tomorrow. And then that means that they're going to begin to march along major roads. So their movement speed's going to double. Now, he's only got about 45 miles across there to Xiangtan. But then it's obviously another 45 there. So if he wanted to, he could arrive at Hengyang before we were in a position to do anything about it. But we'll see. We'll see how many units he moves out, because that's going to be the big the big determining factor, really. We'll see. It could be that we just approach things slightly differently, and it might be that we actually land paratroopers at Taeyong and Jikyang. And not quite attack, because it's one of those of where, conceivably, if we landed the paratroopers over here and over here, then he's going to have to send some forces to go deal with that. So it could be that we gave it some time to actually land those paratroopers over there, and then he might move troops out this way, and It might be one of those of where he's like moving troops away from where they need to be at Hengyang. Yeah, it's an interesting theory, because I know he has another unit over here as well. We have detected one there in the past, and I can imagine it's probably still there. So this number count has remained consistent. Indication of travel is to Xingtan. He might just look to be moving additional engineers, to be honest. I think this is him. I think we'll bear that one in mind for the time being, really. Until we see evidence of where he's going, but it's only about speculation at this moment in time. Got another engineer unit moving south there as well. Now, we obviously don't have the 7,000 that we did originally, but obviously we're still recovering over here. We have moved out divisions as well. So we did move out additional divisions than we did have here. I think we moved out one or more. Well, yeah, we moved out 3 divisions. So we moved out, 3 divisions brigades. We moved out at least 2 divisions that were already previously here, and then a brand new division. So obviously we're not quite up to the amount of AV that we had previously, but obviously we have taken some away as well. So still looking at 5,300 there. Fatigue and disruptions disappeared, which is good news. Something to bear in mind is that planning has increased as well, so at least we have that going for us. So we'll have slightly better chances there. I don't imagine his... See, now that's interesting as well. There's 3 airfield damage. I don't... Did we fly against Changsha last turn? Did we previously bomb Changsha? So I think that's going to be really interesting, because it might be that the engineers are busy, perhaps. I don't know, that might be damage that we've inflicted this turn. But what I'm kind of thinking about is the airfield damage indication. So it's like, obviously if that damage is going down, that means that there's engineers that are repairing. It could be that his forces are moving, and therefore, because they're moving, they're not repairing. But then again, I don't know. Did we bomb Changsha this turn? We bombed Wangkal. As far as I can tell, I don't think I actually bombed Changsha this turn. What's the weather? And they were given orders, so I don't know. I don't think they flew this turn, actually. Weather might have been bad, actually. So that's an angle to approach it from, really. We'd have to take a look at what the damage was last turn and then compare, really. But yeah, that's very interesting, actually. I love the fact that just as I'm about to say, oh yeah, China's still static, which is great, and then like, boom! It's actually changing. But either way, if it pulls out from Changsha, it's one of those of, well, how many troops is it going to pull out? We're still expected to be able to assemble, like, potentially... We've got 1 division there. If we wait until the 19th, we'd have 2 divisions there, we'd have 3 divisions there, so we'd have 5 divisions of brigade. We've got on the way... Yeah, so on the way is 2 tank regiments. We've got a reconnaissance regiment over there, which is... And that's 37 AV, which doesn't sound like a huge amount, but that's 37 AV. And obviously it's armour. Obviously we've got the 100 plus AV there from the tanks, so obviously a few tanks there, about 100 tanks or so. I've got these guys which are going to arrive at San Fernando tomorrow. Yeah. So they're going to arrive at San Fernando tomorrow. Why the fuck are they choosing that way? Right, there we go. Clear waypoint. Right, so they're going to arrive here tomorrow. So over at San Fernando, I do have the 7th Tank Regiment, which is in strategic mode. Over elements, it's Tokyo. But either way, given the time, I could probably get another tank regiment over there in a week. We have another 3 tank regiments that are due to arrive in a few days. So, I don't know. At the very least, we should be able to assemble 5 divisions and a brigade, 2 armoured regiments at least. I mean, even potentially more armoured regiments. And depending on what happens here, and it's going to be fascinating. It is going to be fascinating. I'm not going to spend too much time speculating here because there's a lot that could potentially happen here. But it is a very interesting development. I notice I've lost sight of the actual war area headquarters over here, so that's fine. But I'm moving a unit over to this side, which will bloody well deal with that thing at long last. I just need to basically surround it so it can't bugger off. And if it buggers off over there, it's going to be destroyed. If it buggers off there, then yeah, it's in clear terrain. But yeah, that's really interesting. So I'm going to say, thank you for watching there, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys have enjoyed this, please do go ahead and let me know about it. Comment down below if you have any additional thoughts that I've not covered. And, of course, if you do enjoy the series, please do show your support and potentially consider becoming a patron. Like, favourite, subscribe, all that stuff is good. And, yeah, do go ahead and check out the Discord. You can definitely join the Chrysanthemum Order if you want to join the Japanese. Just type down in the chat. If you want to join the Americans, you can say, yeah, I want to be an Allied supporter. If you want to join the neutral side, which obviously is impartial, they get to view both chat rooms, but they can't interact, and they can only discuss for themselves in the observer room. Obviously, there's a good code of conduct, there's a code of honor. But yeah, until next time. Much to discuss. And, yeah. 9 days. 8 days. 8 to 9 days. 8 to 9 days. Yeah, 8 to 9 days we'll crack this. The fundamental situation is he's still got all his troops deployed in the wrong places, and even if the plans do change, it's going to be, yeah, we'll eventually make it here. The fundamental situation does not change terribly much. But I'm going to be extremely interested to see what the number count is next turn. We have seen him pull out a few units in the past, like 2 units in the past. So, we'll see. We will see. Until next time, thank you for watching, and Tenno, Heika, Banzai. Until next time, have a beautiful evening, and an even better day. Goodbye for now.